Most people believe creatine is only useful if you lift weights or want bigger muscles. But over the last few years, something unexpected happened. Creatine suddenly became one of the fastest-growing health searches in the United States and around the world. And the reason has nothing to do with bodybuilding. It has everything to do with energy, inflammation, metabolism, brain performance, and healthy aging. Modern research is forcing us to rethink creatine as one of the simplest, safest, science-backed tools for improving how the human body actually functions. Here's the truth no one told you when you turned 30. Your body's ability to make energy efficiently begins to decline. You may not notice it in one day, but over months and years, the signs are unmistakable. You wake up less refreshed. You carry more stubborn belly fat, especially visceral fat. Your workouts feel heavier. Your recovery slows down, and your mind doesn't feel as sharp as it used to. People call this aging, but at its core, it's an energy problem. Every cell in your body runs on ATP, the molecule that powers everything: your heartbeat, your thinking, your digestion, your ability to repair and recover. ATP burns out quickly. To keep you running, your body relies on a backup system called phosphocreatine to rapidly restore ATP whenever you're under pressure. Physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress, lack of sleep, or even long workdays. The problem is that your natural phosphocreatine reserve drops as you get older, and when cells don't have enough energy, they do something predictable. They shift into survival mode. That survival mode is where chronic inflammation begins. It's where metabolism slows. It's where fat, especially visceral fat, becomes harder to burn. It's where brain fog appears, and where recovery becomes slower than it should be. This is exactly why creatine is getting global attention today. Creatine doesn't just help you lift more weight, it restores the energy reserve your cells depend on to function well. When you supplement creatine, you give your body the ability to rebuild ATP faster and stay out of that low-energy, high-stress state. And when cellular energy improves, inflammation naturally goes down. Metabolism becomes more flexible, and your body relearns how to burn fat efficiently, not through stimulation or fat-burning chemicals, but through better energy use. Research from 2020 to 2025 shows that creatine helps lower systemic inflammation, supports glucose metabolism, improves muscle quality, sharpens cognitive performance, and reduces mental fatigue. It protects your brain during stress and may even slow down some aspects of cognitive decline. These aren't bodybuilding benefits. These are whole-body, longevity-focused benefits. And the people who see the biggest improvements aren't 20-year-old athletes. They're adults over 40. They're busy professionals who live in a high-stress world. They're people who sleep less than they should. They're men and women who want to stay strong, mobile, lean, mentally sharp, and metabolically healthy as they age. They're vegans and vegetarians who naturally consume less dietary creatine and often respond even better when supplementing. Creatine is not about looking bigger, it's about functioning better. It's about having consistent energy throughout the day, training without feeling wrecked afterward, waking up without stiffness, and thinking without the haze that comes from cellular fatigue. It's about improving the quality of aging, not by chasing trends, but by restoring the fundamental energy system the human body depends on. When you look at creatine through the lens of ATP, inflammation, metabolic health, and longevity, the picture becomes clear. This is not a gym supplement. This is a foundational molecule for anyone who wants to stay energetic, strong, mentally sharp, and biologically younger, no matter their age. Why energy drops after 30, 40, and why creatine becomes a game changer. By the time most people reach their mid-30s, something subtle but powerful begins to shift inside the body. Energy doesn't feel the same. Workouts feel heavier. Recovery takes longer. Fat, especially around the waist, becomes harder to lose. And mentally, it's easier to feel drained, distracted, or overwhelmed. These changes aren't random, and they aren't simply getting older.
they all come back to one root issue: declining cellular energy. Your body runs on ATP, the fuel behind every movement, every thought, every metabolic process. But after age 30, your natural phosphocreatine reserve, the system that quickly regenerates ATP, begins to fall. When that buffer gets low, cells struggle to keep up with stress, long work hours, poor sleep, and intense training. And when energy drops, inflammation rises, metabolism slows, insulin sensitivity weakens, visceral fat becomes more stubborn. Even your brain starts showing signs of fatigue. This is where creatine becomes more than a supplement. It becomes a restoration tool. By rebuilding phosphocreatine stores, you help your cells generate ATP faster and more consistently. That single shift creates a chain reaction. Inflammation goes down, energy becomes more stable, metabolic rate improves, and fat becomes easier to mobilize, especially for people over 40. And the effects aren't just physical. Studies show creatine can improve cognitive performance during stressful days, reduce mental fatigue, and support healthier aging by protecting cellular energy pathways. In other words, creatine helps your body operate closer to how it did when you were younger, not by overstimulating the system, but by giving your cells the raw material they need to function well. For anyone dealing with low energy, stubborn fat, chronic stress, or the early signs of metabolic slowdown, creatine isn't optional anymore. It's foundational.
When you strip away all the hype and marketing, creatine still stands as one of the most studied science-backed supplements in the world. And what recent research shows is simple. Its benefits go far beyond muscle. First, inflammation. Several human studies now suggest that creatine can help lower key inflammatory markers in the body. When your cells have enough energy, they don't need to flip into emergency mode, and your immune system doesn't stay stuck in a constant low-grade inflammatory state. That's a big deal if you care about long-term health, joint comfort, or reducing the hidden inflammation behind weight gain and metabolic disease. Second, muscle quality and strength. Yes, creatine still shines here, but not just for young lifters. In adults over 40, creatine combined with resistance training has been shown to increase lean mass, strength, and training volume more than training alone. That means you don't just build muscle faster, you protect yourself against age-related muscle loss, which is one of the strongest predictors of longevity and independence later in life. Third, metabolism and fat loss. Creatine is not a fat burner, but it supports a healthier metabolism. By improving muscle performance and recovery, it helps you train harder, move more, and maintain metabolically active tissue. On top of that, better cellular energy and improved insulin sensitivity make it easier for the body to use fat for fuel, including stubborn visceral fat around the organs. Fourth, brain and cognitive performance. This is where creatine surprises most people. Research shows it can improve memory, reaction time, and mental endurance, especially under stress, sleep deprivation, or intense cognitive load. Your brain is one of the hungriest organs in the body when it comes to energy. When you support its ATP system with creatine, you feel it. Clearer thinking, less brain fog, better focus. Put simply, creatine supports your muscles, your metabolism, your brain, and your long-term health. It's not about chasing quick fixes. It's about giving every cell in your body more of what it needs to perform well, day after day.
Even though creatine is useful for almost everyone, certain groups experience noticeably stronger results, often because they start with lower natural creatine stores or because their lifestyle demands more cellular energy. First, adults over 40. This is the group that benefits the most. As we age, we lose muscle faster, recover slower, and naturally produce less phosphocreatine. That combination leads to weaker metabolism, stubborn fat, and declining strength. Supplementing creatine helps reverse that trend by improving muscle quality, restoring energy, and supporting mobility. key factors for healthy aging and longevity. Second, people dealing with chronic stress or long work hours. Your brain burns through creatine rapidly when you're under mental pressure. If you're the type who works late, sleeps irregularly, or feels mentally drained halfway through the day, creatine can make a noticeable difference. It helps maintain cognitive performance, reduces mental fatigue, and keeps brain energy stable during stressful periods. Third, office workers and people who live a mostly sedentary lifestyle. When you sit for long hours and move less, your muscle creatine stores stay low, your metabolism slows, and inflammation rises. Creatine gives your muscles the ability to perform better when you do move and helps stabilize metabolic health even on light activity days. Fourth, women, especially during perimenopause and menopause. Many women avoid creatine because they fear water retention, but research shows the water held is inside the muscle, not under the skin. Creatine can help improve strength, reduce fatigue, support mood stability, and protect against age-related muscle and bone loss. For women over 40, this can be a major advantage for long-term health. Fifth, vegans and vegetarians. Because creatine is naturally found in animal products, plant-based eaters often have significantly lower creatine levels. Studies show they experience some of the biggest improvements in strength, cognition, and energy when supplementing. And finally, anyone trying to lose fat. Not because creatine burns fat directly, but because it restores the energy needed for better training, faster recovery, improved insulin sensitivity, and a more efficient metabolism. In short, creatine isn't just for athletes, it's for adults who want more energy, better metabolic health, improved mental clarity, and a stronger, healthier future. Even though creatine is one of the most studied supplements in the world, a lot of confusion still surrounds it. Clearing up these misconceptions is important because the fears most people have simply aren't supported by science. Misconception 1. Creatine causes hair loss. This is the most common myth, and it comes from a single small study that didn't even measure hair. Decades of research show no direct link between creatine and hair loss. For healthy adults, creatine is considered safe. Misconception 2. Creatine damages the kidneys. This is false for people with normal kidney function. Study after study confirms creatine is safe long-term when taken at standard doses. If someone already has a kidney disorder, they should talk to a doctor. But for healthy individuals, creatine does not harm the kidneys. Misconception 3. Creatine causes bloating. What actually happens is that creatine pulls water into the muscle cell, not under the skin. This makes muscles look fuller and healthier, not puffy. Most people never experience bloating when using high-quality creatine monohydrate. Misconception 4. Creatine is only for people who lift weights. It's true that lifters see big benefits, but creatine supports far more than strength. It boosts brain energy, reduces fatigue, supports metabolism, and helps people over 40 maintain muscle and mobility. Misconception 5. You need to load creatine to make it work. You don't. The loading phase is optional. Most people see great results taking 3 to 5 grams per day consistently. Misconception 6. Creatine and caffeine cancel each other out. Research doesn't support this idea. You can take creatine with your morning coffee without any loss of effectiveness. Misconception 7. All creatine products are the same. Quality matters. Purity, testing standards, and microdosation all affect how well creatine is absorbed and how comfortable it is on your stomach. When you remove the myths, what remains is clear. Creatine is simple, safe, and scientifically reliable. And for many people, it's one of the most effective tools for supporting long-term energy, strength, and health. When it comes to creatine, the truth is simple. You don't need complicated protocols or aggressive loading phases. What matters most is consistency. For most adults, especially anyone over 40 or anyone training regularly, the research-backed dose is 3 to 5 grams per day. That's it. No cycling, no timing stress, no massive scoop during the first week. The best time to take creatine is the time you will remember. Morning works,
after a workout works, even before bed works. Creatine doesn't need a specific window to be effective, because its benefits come from raising your baseline levels over time, not from a short-term spike. If you drink coffee or electrolytes in the morning, mixing creatine into that routine is an easy way to stay consistent. If you want to maximize results, combine creatine with strength training at least 2 to 3 times per week. Resistance training increases your muscle's ability to store and use creatine, making every gram more effective. For people over 40, this combination is especially powerful for improving muscle quality, metabolism, and mobility. Hydration matters too. Creatine pulls water into your muscle cells, exactly where you want it, but staying well hydrated supports smoother absorption and better performance. You don't need excessive water, just consistent hydration throughout the day. Some people wonder whether they should increase the dose on heavy training days or during stressful weeks. It's optional, but for those who feel more drained than usual, splitting the dose, 2 to 3 grams in the morning and 2 to 3 grams later, can help maintain steadier energy. The simplest rule is this: take creatine daily, give it a few weeks, and let the process work. Over time, your muscles, your metabolism, and even your brain will begin to feel the difference. Creatine doesn't work overnight, but with consistency, it becomes one of the most reliable tools for improving long-term health and performance. When you understand what creatine actually does, the story becomes much bigger than fitness. It's about restoring the energy your body depends on to stay strong, sharp, and capable as you age. It's about lowering the inflammation that slows you down. It's about supporting a healthier metabolism, preserving muscle, and protecting your brain during the most demanding years of your life. Creatine isn't a shortcut or a trend. It's one of the few science-backed tools that consistently helps people feel and function better. You don't need to chase complicated protocols or wait for perfect conditions. A simple daily routine, done consistently, can change the way your body performs from the inside out. The results are subtle at first, but they build, and over time, they can reshape your energy, your strength, and even your confidence in what your body can still do. If you're ready to take control of your energy, your metabolism, and the way you age, creatine is one of the easiest and most effective places to start. But understanding how to use it is just the beginning. For a deeper dive into how creatine supports brain performance, reduces stress-related fatigue, and improves mental clarity, watch the next video on your screen right now. It breaks down the cognitive benefits of creatine in a way most people have never heard before, and it might explain why your brain feels tired even when your body doesn't. Click the next video, and I'll meet you there.